Well, hi again, everybody, from the attic of my home. We are obviously no longer in the studio. The studio is off limits during these times of social and/or physical distancing, so we'll bring you today's economic statement and fiscal update from the attic at Steve Paikin's home. There's a $17 billion so-called action plan that we want to talk about tonight. That is what Finance Minister Rod Phillips unveiled today. And Sheldon Osmond, if you want to push some buttons wherever you are, we'll bring up the graphics and show everybody what Rod Phillips had to say today. $17 billion of actions, $7 billion on healthcare, $10 billion on what the government's calling people and businesses. And let's go through these if we can. Here are the healthcare system responses to COVID-19. $2.1 billion of new money in total. $935 million to improve hospital capacity, that's acute and critical care beds, new assessment centers, and the like. $243 million for so-called surge capacity in the long-term care sector. There's $160 million for COVID-19 monitoring and testing and telehealth. $75 million for personal protective equipment and critical medical supplies. You've heard a lot about the need for masks and gloves and so on. And there's a $1 billion contingency fund for needs that we still don't know about that may emerge as this crisis continues. Now, under the category of people and job protection, $3.7 billion of items enumerated there. And here we go. The government's going to cut taxes by $355 million by increasing the exemption that 57,000 employers now pay for the employer health tax. Once this kicks in, that's about 90% of the province's businesses that are not going to be paying the employer health tax anymore. On the issue of childcare, there is a one-time payment of $200 per child up to the age of 12 and $250 per child for special needs kids. This is something parents will have to apply for, and the government expects its new application portal to be up in April. If you're in post-secondary, there is a 6-month holiday now. Interest payment relief for students who've got OSAP money that they have to repay. And of course, the interest will not accrue over that 6-month period of time. There's a $26 million program to support Indigenous peoples and their communities. If you're a senior, the province of Ontario is going to double the amount of money you get in your guaranteed annual income system statements. That's the GAINS program. It's for low-income seniors. Again, it'll last 6 months at a cost of $75 million to the province. There's $1.5 billion more to subsidize lower electricity prices. And you'll remember the Premier talked about this just the other day. Ratepayers, small businesses, and farms are now going to pay off-peak rates all the time for 45 days due to the increased daytime use of electricity in people's homes because of virus isolation. There's $10 billion for people and businesses, and in that we include a $6 billion interest and penalty relief time. That's to file and make payments for provincial business taxpayers. That's going to have an impact on 100,000 businesses who will save $6 billion with this interest and penalty relief filing time. And if you pay premiums to the Workers' Safety and Insurance Board, $1.9 billion in deferrals there as well. For the next 6 months, you don't have to make your WSIB payments. Now, all of this is forcing the government of Ontario to go into the markets for a lot of money. They are going to be borrowing. And if there's one number in this whole economic statement today that reflects it more than anything else, because we're not going to casinos and perhaps not buying lottery tickets like we used to, revenues to the province from Ontario Lottery and Gaming, that's casinos and lottery tickets and so on, is going to plummet from $2.3 billion last year to, they suspect, only about $800 million this year. That is a big hit to the province's bottom line. The fiscal year that we're about to come out of, that's 2019-20, which ends at the end of this month, the deficit for the province of Ontario is $9.2 billion. They were actually making progress on it. That's a little lower than they anticipated a year ago. But because of the measures announced today, the deficit, meaning the amount of money coming in compared to the amount of money that they're spending, will be off to the tune of $20.5 billion. That's not the biggest number of all time, but it's surely one of them. And of course, any plans that the current government of Ontario had to get back to a balanced budget, well, they're just blown to smithereens. That's not going to happen for years and years and years. As a result of the debts incurred today, the total debt by this time next year for the province of Ontario is expected to be $388 billion, We'll find out more. The province promises it'll bring out a full budget with long-term prognostications by November 15th of this year. Well, of course, today was supposed to be budget day in the province of Ontario, and then came the COVID-19 pandemic. With us now on the economic and fiscal update that the province released today instead, and joining us from his office at the Frost Block across the road from the Ontario Legislature, there's Rod Phillips, the Minister of Finance and the MPP for Ajax. Minister, it's good to have you on TVO. How was your day?
Well, Steve, I appreciate you having me on. And, it's been a full day. Of course, 2 weeks ago, we thought this would be the launching of our 2020-2021 budget. And that's just how fast things can change. But very happy to be with you.
Let me just start with a very open-ended question. What did you see as your mission today as expressed through the economic statement?
Today, we wanted to make sure that people in Ontario understood that their government was going to be providing the support as a first step in this fight against COVID-19. One of the things that we needed to make sure, of course, was that our partners, whether it's municipalities or hospitals, school boards, universities, colleges, people that the government of Ontario transfers money to every year, knew what monies they were going to get. And that's why we were so determined to make sure that we had this fiscal statement. Of course, about 2 weeks ago, we realized that with the change in the environment, with everything going on, there was no way that we could deliver the same budget with the same economic basis that we had planned to, because as we all know, things have changed so much in only a couple of weeks. So today we wanted to make sure we got the message out that we are going to be supporting Ontarians, $17 billion in a package I'm sure we'll talk about in detail. But we also wanted to make sure that all those important partners, the people who we need to work together with to get through this, we're all going to need to work together to get through this, but those important partners had the resources, they knew what the commitments the provincial government was making, and they could go ahead and work together with us.
The one number I do want to start with is a number that I suspect when you signed off on it, whenever that was, I want to know how shocked you were to sign off on an economic document that's got a $20 billion plus deficit in it.
You know, Steve, frankly, given the situation, it wasn't that difficult. Of course, we've done good work, we believe, for just under 2 years as the government trying to put Ontario back on a solid financial footing. We want to be on a solid financial footing, just like a family or a business. One of the reasons that you try to be a good fiscal manager is in the case of an emergency, and that emergency is COVID-19. So when it became apparent that this global pandemic was going to be affecting Ontario, not just from a health perspective, but also from a jobs and economy perspective, we rolled up our sleeves. I worked with my colleagues around the cabinet table, led by our Premier, Doug Ford, and we put together a plan that responds. And let's be clear, this is a first step. This is what we think is necessary now to make sure that there's money for healthcare, that there's money for jobs, that we are doing our best to help in a difficult time. But none of us know clearly exactly what the future holds. Things are changing hour to hour, day to day, and this is the package that was needed.
Let us do that deeper dive into the numbers that you just suggested we would do. And at the outset, I often feel I have to do this when we have cabinet ministers on the program. I need to remind people that my job is actually not to attack you for the decisions that you make. It is to understand and find out why you landed where you landed. So let's start with this. The opposition leader, Andrea Horwath, did say that if she were writing the document today instead of you, there would have been something in there that would have mailed out $2,000 checks right away to those who are either unemployed or underemployed to help them bridge the gap before the federal program announced today kicks in and some of the other measures that you mentioned today kick in. That wasn't a part of the package that you unveiled today, so let's start there. Why not?
Well, first and foremost, the government of Ontario and all the provinces are responsible for healthcare. So that's where we started. $3.3 billion for healthcare to make sure that the health sector and the public health portion of that have the resources that they need. And one of the things, and listen, we got suggestions from all of the leaders of the opposition. I thank them today in the legislature. They unanimously passed our bill together. Of course, doesn't mean they agree with everything we did, but Andrea Horwath said we should spend $1 billion more on healthcare. We're going to be spending $3 billion more on healthcare. But first and foremost, we started with healthcare. Then we looked to the other areas that we thought needed support. Our lowest income seniors, $75 million to support seniors. 194,000 of them will see their checks double next month. Support for parents, $200 for every child 12 and under, $250, Steve, if it's a special needs child. That's 2 million children, and those are families that are going to receive that support. You mentioned the federal program, a new federal program that kicked in today. We've been working very closely with our federal colleagues. I know that Premier Ford was dealing with Chrystia Freeland and with the Prime Minister, lobbying for the kind of income supports that we've seen today. I was certainly talking to Bill Minorno, the federal finance minister. So we're all going to need to work together, and we're going to need to fill in the gaps where the other people can't. As you know, the province of Ontario has the responsibility for supporting some of our lowest income individuals. So that's the sort of supports we put out today, and I think it was appropriate.
Okay, let me ask you about something John Fraser, the Liberal, former interim leader of the Liberals, raised in the House today after your speech, which was, why did you choose not to do what the federal government has done in as much as I think they're 10% of salaries. They're backstopping 10% of people's salaries. He said maybe you should have done the same thing. You opted not to. How come?
Yeah, and listen, there are all manner of good ideas, and we will continue to listen to those. But instead, we decided yesterday, for example, to adjust time of use pricing on the electricity system, and that's going to mean that people see their electricity bills drop, albeit for only a period of time, but a period of time hopefully that will be helpful. That'll help businesses, that'll help farms, that'll obviously help individuals. So again, good suggestions. We will continue to listen to them, but we think this package represents a very good first step. It's $17 billion, broken out in some ways that make sense. And I'll go back to it again. And Mr. Fraser was quite complimentary on our healthcare investments. Steve, $343 million, for example, to make sure that we're getting more beds, acute care beds, intensive care beds, and making sure that we have over 70 COVID-19 testing centers. We'll make the best choices. We'll keep listening, and we'll make sure that our frontline healthcare workers have the resources they need, and that we help those who are in difficult times because of COVID-19.
Well, let me pick up right on the last thing you said. He was mostly complimentary of what you unveiled in terms of the healthcare package today, but he did say $75 million for protective equipment for healthcare workers was, in his view, probably not going to get the job done. Are you open to spending more on that if it's required?
Absolutely. One of the things that we put in our healthcare package is a $1 billion, and this is unique, it's never been done before, but a dedicated $1 billion COVID-19 contingency fund for those kind of expenditures. So obviously we will make sure that our healthcare workers have the equipment that they need. That $75 million will go a long way for that protective equipment. We've also, Steve, made investments in making sure that there's protective equipment in our long-term care homes and in other places where people are more at risk. So, but that is what that contingency fund is there for. It's been a very, very difficult 2 weeks, and these are unprecedented times. So we made sure that we built in the flexibility that we can adjust, we can adapt as required.
Let me ask you about business. You are giving businesses now, well, let me just set this up this way. A lot of businesses in the province of Ontario, not most actually, but a lot, pay something called the employer's health tax. And you have increased the amount of payroll that a business now has to have in order to be eligible to pay that tax, or in order for it to be required to be paid, to $1 million of payroll, which means basically 90% of the businesses in the province now will get a holiday on paying that tax. And my question is, if you're going to go 90%, why don't you just get rid of it altogether and say, this is a huge tax cut, we're giving it to all businesses, we're going to hope it stimulates some growth and hiring. How come you didn't do that?
We wanted to focus on the smaller and medium-sized businesses that we thought that could impact. It's a $350 million tax expenditure, and that is a lot of money, but we think it helps out. What we also did, though, is defer those taxes, and this was something that we've worked collaboratively with the federal government on. So we've deferred for 5 months the requirement for any of those employers to pay their employer health tax. We've also had the WCB defer fees and their rates for the next 6 months, and working with municipalities, we've given them the ability to defer property taxes for 3 months. So this is all about trying to deal with one of the most significant issues that these businesses are dealing with right now, cash flow. And that's where the $10 billion of support that we put together comes in. We think that that puts $10 billion back into the economy at a time when it's most needed and gives those businesses, and in the case of property taxes, people, a break.
And I note a $1.9 billion holiday for the next 6 months on paying your premiums for the Workers' Safety Insurance Board, which I know, because I've been watching Twitter, I know business groups are very happy about. There was one thing, though, that the Canadian Federation of Independent Business implored you to do, and again, you opted not to, which was to work with the feds to add HST remittances to their list of deferrals. That's not on the list right now. Is that something you could see doing in the days ahead?
You know, Steve, these are unprecedented times, and things are changing by the day, changing by the hour. So we're going to continue to listen to what we hear from groups, from companies, from individuals about how we can help. We are seeing as well great cooperation with the federal government. Again, today, Bill Morneau brought out an additional and enhanced program of income support for people affected by COVID-19, even if they're going to remain in employment. So we're going to be working together. You know, I was talking to Mayor Tory this morning about the property tax deferral. I think this is what people expect us to do right now. And listen, through this whole crisis, we're all going to need to work together. We will get through it, but we're going to get through it because we're able to be innovative, because we listen, and because we do, and because we help each other out.
Let me ask you about the post-secondary world, and I know that you announced in your package today a 6-month holiday on repaying OSAP grants, and interest will not accrue on that money that's owed right now, so I know post-secondary students will be happy to hear about that. I did, however, again, when checking Twitter, note that here's what one parent said. She said, I'm the parent of 2 university students who need to start paying rent in May for 1-year leases. Now they will not have summer jobs. I don't see how they're going to be able to pay their rent, never mind afford school for next year. This parent says, nothing has been announced for them. What would you say to that family?
Well, you know, this is a very challenging time, and I certainly hear in my riding of Ajax and around the province from people who are facing just those kinds of challenges. But we have to understand that underlying this economic challenge, underlying these job challenges, the job losses we've all been hearing about, is a health crisis, a global pandemic. That's why we need to take the actions we are. That's why we were the first jurisdiction in the industrialized world to close the schools. That's why we declared a state of emergency. That's why we've indicated that only essential businesses need to be open, because we need to bend the curve on COVID-19 to get through the health crisis, and that will help us to get back on track from an economic point of view. So I would say to that parent, you know, we are listening. We want to make sure that we are supporting people, and we are supporting students and obviously others. But we need to focus right now on the health crisis. That's what's underlying the economic challenges we have. That's why we're asking people to self-isolate. That's why we are asking businesses that don't need to be open to close. And that focus and those investments on healthcare that we made are what's going to get us through the healthcare crisis, the global healthcare crisis, and that will let us turn the economy around.
Okay, Minister, in our remaining moments here, let me ask you about some of the numbers that were in the economic statement today, and I'll just pluck 2 of them. The document obviously was replete with numbers, but here's just 2. You've got growth rates this year projecting at 0%. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I am looking all over the place at people who think the economy is going to contract 5%, 10%, maybe 15%. In your document, it's at 0. Similarly, you've got the unemployment rate last year at 6.6%, and this document suggests the forecast for the upcoming year will remain at 6.6%. And I guess I'm wondering, if we're going through the economic catastrophe that a lot of people fear we are right now, how can those numbers be remotely accurate?
Well, you know, Steve, this is the very reason you mentioned off the top that we had planned to have a budget this same day, and it was a budget that was based on the same kind of economic forecasts that every other province and the federal government was using in the development of their budget. 2 weeks ago, we decided to adjust that, and we decided to redo the numbers. We decided as well just to have a 1-year budget, because that was a period we thought we could look clearly into. Listen, last week, you would have seen projections from banks that were higher than the ones that we put. Today, you will see some that are lower. What we need to do is make sure that we remain flexible and make sure that we keep the line of communication open about what's going on from an economic point of view. So certainly, you know, we are going to be watching the economy, as you know, on a quarterly basis. I stand up in the Queen's Park Press Gallery and answer all your colleagues' questions about the finances, about the economy of Ontario, and we'll certainly keep doing that. But What we did decide to do, and this is something that other provinces and the federal government haven't chosen to do yet at this point, we decided to make sure we came out with our projections with our impact on the finances. We think Ontarians need to know that. We think that puts us in a good position going forward. And obviously, I don't have a crystal ball as to what the economy is going to look like. I can say that we're seeing absolutely historic levels of both monetary and fiscal stimulus, both in Canada and in other countries in these last couple days, and the markets aren't the economy, and frankly, I don't watch them that closely for indicators, but we've seen them do slightly better, I think, as a result of some of those changes. So we will see, and I'll be happy to come back on your show and talk about where we're at in the economy. For now, we just wanted to make sure there was a realistic outlook.
Okay, in our last 30 seconds here, let me ask you about a moment in your speech in the legislature where you talked about watching your neighbors in Ajax applauding. What were they applauding for?
I guess it's become, I must admit, I've had my head down putting this financial statement and this plan together. But I guess it's become a tradition. Someone told me after the fact, I didn't know it at the time, for people to come out and applaud the healthcare workers, the frontline healthcare workers at our hospitals when they're changing shifts. So on Harwood Avenue in Ajax, around 7:30 a couple nights ago, I heard the clapping and the cheering and realized that was what it was for. It was those frontline workers returning for their next shift. So pretty emotional moment. But I think we're all going to have a lot of those as we get through this. As I said, this is something we're going to get through. This package will help. What the federal government was doing will help. What the local governments are doing will help. But it's really about what Ontarians are doing, what the Premier calls Ontario spirit. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together.
Minister Phillips, it's good of you to spare some time for us tonight, and I look forward to doing this again, hopefully in a studio next time where I can actually see you.
I'll look forward to that, Steve. Thank you.
Take care.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.